There's a very strange location in Red Dead Redemption 2 that links to a character from Red Dead Redemption 1 and also changes when you are close to being done with the game. So in this video we will take a look at this location where a ton of stuff is going on. So let's get into it. If you enjoyed that, then a like would be super appreciated, and let's go. The location is over here on the map and I found it thanks to Timo on YouTube. The link to his channel is in the description down below. But he was not the only one to find this. Credits also go to Melissa, who also wanted me to mention Phoenix's team for finding this secret as well. So you will immediately know that something weird is going on because your horse does not want to get close to this cabin. In my case, I was thrown on the ground and my horse was like running away, and then when I tried to get back to the house on my horse again, I could park it close by, but when I left, she was nowhere to be seen. There's, by the way, also a dead alligator in a cage under this house, and we might have a clue as to why that is, but more on that later. So yes, those things already tell you that this is not just one cabin. There's something going on here, but this is just the start. Upon entering this cabin on my chapter 4 save, you immediately see a big painting that is unfinished with a landscape in the back. And what makes this interesting is that this painting changes if you visit the place later on in the game. Like right now it's unfinished, but later it turns into a painting from the strange man from the first Red Dead Redemption game, as we see in the footage here from Timo. We still don't know what triggers this change, maybe the days spent in the game after you find the house. Timo has completed the game 100%, but Melissa saw this painting when she finished the game for 87%. So it seems like a high completion percentage is needed to see the strange man. Going back to my footage, we see more things in the house that are really weird, to say the least. We see the hat from the strange man that you sadly cannot pick up. There's blood on the ground next to the painting, and there are more paintings in the house that also differ per player and might be linked to your honor, although we cannot say that for sure. Like I see elks and bucks and birds, while if we go to the footage from Timo, we see completely different animals. Also, Timo notes that when he later entered the house, the paintings were all gone, and that was after he saw the painting of the strange man. Also, the animals on the wall were gone, as we see in his picture on Twitter. So that is very scary indeed. There's also a ton of text on the wall. We see "I know you," and that's of course the name of the missions where you encounter the strange man in Red Dead Redemption. So that is another connection. But there's more text on the wall. His final toll will sound my greatest coming. And also, the moon will shine on in the darkness. Or from the snow to the cave. And also, I gave everything for art and learned too much and nothing at all. And behind the painting we see the text, "The water is black with venom." So yes, it's very likely that these things on the wall also have a different meaning. We will talk about that a little later in the video as well. Also interesting are the engravings on the table in the house, that it's talking about a character you might remember from one of the early missions in Valentine. The text namely goes like this: "There was a man called Jimmy Brooks who was always running into crooks. Still one chased him down and he had to talk his way around. That Jimmy isn't as dumb as he looks." So yes, that is the guy that recognizes you in Valentine, saying he saw you back in Blackwater before like riding away on his horse. You chase him and then can help him, as he will die when you do nothing, or you can also choose to kill him as well. I helped him, so then you get this poem, but if you killed him, the poem is actually different, as shown by Outlaw Hunter X on YouTube. I put a link to his channel in the description down below. So the beginning of the poem is the same, but then it says, "But the man from the ferry found him very contrary. Now Jimmy's family don't see him very much." Implying, of course, that he is dead. So that's very interesting, of course, that we see the impact of that choice really early in the game in this small house in the swamp. But it does make sense if we try to connect it to the strange man, because Jimmy Brooks' scenario was the first real life or death choice in the game. And of course, the "I know you" missions in the first Red Dead Redemption game were also about good and bad choices. You might recall that if you helped Jimmy Brooks, he gave you his pen, an item that would appear in your satchel with the description "A pen given to Arthur by Jimmy Brooks." I sold it at a Vans because that of course makes sense. It was $10, so that was nice at that point in the game. But maybe you can use this pen if you still have it, like at this location. maybe something to try out for sure, like replay the game, get the pen and then go to this location or something. If you know more about the sort of purpose of this pen, of course let me know in the comments down below. Also interesting, when you take a picture of this cabin and then go to the social club section of the game, you see a special tag, namely serial killer, implying that this is the house of a serial killer, and that might be why there is an alligator in the cage. Maybe that was used to get rid of the bodies. Now it's dead though, so it seems like the serial killer has not visited the place in a while, and maybe the map of Armadillo in the house has something to do with it. It has the text, "I offered you happiness or 2 generations. You made your choice." So maybe the strange man, the serial killer, was focused on this village all along. Armadillo is a place you can visit after you finished the game. So now follow spoilers for the end of Red Dead Redemption 2. You still here? Okay, let's go then. Before we go to Armadillo, I want to show you one very scary thing that happened in Timo's game when he entered the house when the painting was complete. When Timo namely looked in the mirror, he saw the strange man standing behind him. So that is very spooky indeed, like when he turned away and then looked in the mirror again, the strange man was gone. You will also make a drawing of the place with the text, "This place made me feel like I was being watched. Queerest feeling I ever felt. Hard to explain. Fascinating and awful and seductive all at once." And yes, I can totally see why. Okay, so let's go to Armadillo. Like, something must be going on here, right? That is connected to the strange man. You immediately see upon arriving that this village has been hit hard by a flu named cholera. This guy with the belt tells you all about it. That people are either dead or left, and that this town has been cursed.
Sure. A few years ago it was the scarlet fever. Then it was the desert plague. Then typhus. Now the cholera. Bad business. Some folks say the whole town is cursed. Whole town's got cholera! Here, you can read for yourself.
Then he gives you this paper that also says don't drink the water, and that's an interesting link to the text on the wall in the cabin that says the water is black with venom. But the more interesting link to the strange man is in the general store of the village that actually has the only man that does not appear to be sick, Herbert Moon. You can also know this guy from the first Red Dead Redemption, and he has a picture of the strange man in a frame behind him, and that does not move. Like, you can shoot everything in the store, let it drop, but this picture remains in the same place. It's one weird mystery for sure. But that is not all. You can also kill Herbert Moon and then loot him to pick up a letter he got from his daughter. She talks about the fact that she married a Jew, something that he can't stand, so he disowned her. In this letter, she's asking him to come back into her life, to forgive her, and also meet her grandchild when it arrives. The letter also talks about the 2 different callings they both have. She wants to help the poor with her husband, but he thinks that running the general store is the best thing to do in life. And this line is interesting. "I'm sure your God will hate me for marrying a Jew." And we also got this one. "I pray for you to the God you believe must hate me, and that he in his infinite wisdom can make you see that I'm not a sinner you believe me to be." And I think the strange man did exactly that, or should I say his God. Because look at the way the strange man like appears in the mirror, how he could not be killed by John at the end of the I Know You missions in Red Dead Redemption 1, and how that painting for some reason cannot be touched in the store. It looks like the strange man is a god, and he offered Herbert Moon to be with his family, to be happy, or 2 generations. Remember, that was written on the Armadillo map. Well, since he disowned his daughter, I think he did not choose for happiness, and now we are 2 generations further because his daughter is getting a child, his grandchild, and that is of course 2 generations. Looks like the strange man punished him by cursing Armadillo and taking away all his customers, so that all that Herbert has now is his daughter and his grandchild. Makes some sense, right? Like, that is our theory, but mysteries of course still remain. Jimmy Brooks, that guy that you saw early in the game, has something to do with this. Maybe there's more to this guy than we thought. Maybe his pen is of any use. Maybe he's still in the game for all we know if you let him live. It would be cool if we could actually find him in the game, that maybe he has some information on this strange man. And what is his connection with this potential god anyways? And why is there blood on the ground? The strange man as a god or devil can be seen as a serial killer cursing a whole village, but why would there be blood in the house then too? But yeah, I think there's more to this for sure. If you found something, totally let me know in the comments down below so we can further investigate this very interesting mystery. You can also reach out to me on Twitter at JorRaptor, follow me there, or Instagram JorRaptor is also a place to reach out. Subscribe for everything Red Dead Redemption 2. I got tips and tricks, news and mysteries like this up on the channel and coming your way. Like this video to support the channel. Check out my recent Red Dead Redemption 2 video on awesome weapons you don't want to miss. And I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.